Today we're going to go over an incredibly low effort super credit and metal farm that even solo players can do in Helldivers 2. I'll cover details in a minute, but first I'd like to take a quick minute to clarify just a few things. Is this farm necessary? No, not really. Super credits and metals can be earned naturally by just playing the game normally, and what I do the vast majority of the time when I play. That being said, there might be a situation where there's a fine AF looking armor set in the store and maybe you're shy by just a couple hundo credits or whatever the case might be. And if you're in that situation and you want to use this farm, I ain't gonna judge you, king, so use it and here we go. First off, you're gonna find a planet that has good clean line of sight, aka isn't murk or darky or foggy half the time. I recommend Crimsica, but other planets should work fine too. Next, crank that difficulty down to level 1 trivial. Pick any mission at all. I've chosen a spread democracy mission, doesn't really matter a ton. We'll talk about min-maxing this to make it faster in just a minute, but when you touch down in the mission, your real objective is to just explore and learn the entire map. When we get this farm up and running at full power, you're gonna eventually be doing the exact same map on repeat many times, so start learning the lay of the land down to the detail. Because you're on trivial difficulty, the entire mission area should be super tiny. As you explore, take mental notes of any places of interest that you come across. Two key things you're looking for in particular: little crash ship sites where you salute and the door pops off, or bunkers where you blow the door with a nade and get goodies. You can also keep your eyes peeled for friendship bunkers if you want to run this farm with a team, more on that in a bit. Try and find all the crash ship sites and garage door stashes that you can, and again, remember where they're located. Part of this is going to be RNG based without question. If you land into a mission and there's just not a ton of these locations laying around, find a new operation and keep scouting new missions until you find one with a good amount of loot locations. The mission I'm running in the filler footage I learned had 2 crash site locations and 3 blowable garage door locations. That's good enough for me as a solo player, so that is the mission I'm running on repeat. Go around the map collecting all the loot from those locations until you've gotten all of them, then open up the menu and hard quit out of the game. Don't return to your ship, straight up quit out of the game. Then relaunch the game and you'll now be able to load back into that exact same operation on the exact same map. The reason this works is that unlike samples, which can only be held onto if you extract out of the mission, metals and super credits are added to your inventory immediately, regardless of whether you extract or not. Therefore, when you quit the game, it allows you to come back and finish the operation with everything you've looted refreshed, and you can just keep doing that over and over. Alright, let's talk min-maxing to make this entire process go even quicker. Obviously, you're going to want to put on light armor with a high speed stat so you can run around as quickly as you can. I'm also going to recommend the jump pack stratagem so you can either move around the map faster or potentially jump over fences or buildings to get to the loot locations a little bit easier. Your other stratagems literally don't matter. Doing this on level 1, you won't really bump into enemies unless you maybe go out of your way to do so. I can give you rough numbers on how much you can earn doing this per hour, but hard to give an exact number since RNG is involved. RNG in how many loot locations there are on the map you've chosen, but also RNG involved in every time you perform the act of looting. As an example, sometimes when you pop open a loot drop, you can get plus 10 super credits. Then on a different run, you can loot that exact same location, and if you're lucky, you could hit the jackpot and get plus 100 super credits. It's rare, but it can happen, so therefore, luck is a factor. Once I got the hang of my route, I timed my runs in between quitting out of and relaunching the game, dropping into the mission, running my usual route, quitting out of the game, and repeating, including all of that, not just in-game mission time. I got to 3.5 minutes per run. On top of that, I got to about 30 super credits per run and 8 medals per run. That means if I did that for an hour, give or take, and had horrible RNG with no jackpots at all, I'd still be looking at a minimum of 510 super credits and 136 medals per hour running completely on my own. But again, even if you get one jackpot and get that 100 super credit drop, that number will be way higher, which is pretty damn good for a no-effort solo farm while watching Amazon Prime on my second monitor. Moving on, can you do this farm in a group? Yeah, you can, but there's upsides and there are downsides. The biggest upside is that once y'all learn the layout of the map, you can do the farm way faster when you land, because you can split up and hit all the loot locations in half the time. You also have the ability to open any friendship bunkers that might be lying around, adding to your overall loot haul per run. The biggest downside is that after you quit the game and relaunch, you now have to sit there and wait for your homies to join back into your lobby and get into the pods before you can fire up the mission again, which is going to add to your overall time per run. I'd say solo might actually be the better play, because the faster you're burning through each mission, the more opportunities you have to pull the lever of RNG and have Lady Luck bless you with a plus 100 super credit drop. That being said, doing it with a group will make you less likely to slam your head right through your desk due to how mind-numbingly boring this farm is overall. But at the end of the day, up to you. Do it solo, do it with a group, or don't do it at all and just spread democracy normally the way God intended, whatever makes you happy. If you have any other farm recommendations, share them down below. Thank you very much for watching. Peace!